Well, I must say it's very nice to have all the friendly chatter and conversation here in the chambers. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to interrupt that because the time has now come when I need to call to order the Kalamazoo City Commission meeting for Monday, September 15th, 2025. And I want to welcome everybody here in the chambers with us this evening. Nice to see all my colleagues up here. We did have a meeting, the committee of the whole meeting that started at 5, and we had a little break after that. So here we are back again, and the first order of business is roll call. Clerk Borling.
Commissioner Cooney. Present. Commissioner Decker.
Present.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Present.
Commissioner Pradle.
Present.
Commissioner Wilson.
Present.
Vice Mayor Hess.
Present.
Mayor Anderson.
Here. Thank you very much, Clerk Borling. Just a little point of order. I'm going to adjust our agenda here just a little bit. We are lucky enough to have folks from Metro Transit to provide an update to us this evening. That comes under introduction of guests. And then we have 3 very important proclamations that would come after that. So I touch base with Kurt Artema. I think you're okay with this. I'm going to adjust our agenda that you hopefully have a copy of in your hand. There's a stack out there on the wall if you haven't. And I'm going to have the Metro Transit update come after our proclamation. So we'll just be swapping those items, the order of those items on our agenda. Now we are blessed to have the Reverend Dr. Christopher Moore from Mount Zion Baptist Church to provide an invocation, and I'm going to ask everyone to stand for the invocation and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor Moore.
Let us pray. Lord God, we thank you for who you are, and we are here today in this city government recognizing that you are the ultimate authority, that as the scripture says, that authority comes from you. And we thank you for the rule of order and authority to uphold righteousness, to promote the good of the community, to support those who are vulnerable, to restrain evil. And we thank you that through this community, we're able to come together to promote the peace of each other so that we all can enjoy a peaceable and quiet life in all godliness and reverence. So thank you today for your spirit in this place. We thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your guidance. We thank you, God, for your hand on this meeting. We know that life is so precious. It's brief. It's as a vapor. So God, instead of focusing on the meaningless, we focus today on the meaningful and enjoy life, the life that you've allowed us to live. So Father, we give you praise. We give you all the glory, and we give you all the honor. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Thank you so much again, Pastor Moore, for blessing us with a way to kick off our meeting this evening. We are also lucky to have 3 wonderful proclamations to deliver this evening, and I am going to bring the proclamations down, and they are going to be read. We're going to be starting with the Big Brothers, Big Sisters Month. Vice Mayor Hess is going to be reading that. Then we'll go on to the Diaper Need Awareness Week. Commissioner Decker will be reading that. And then capping it off, honoring Pastor Michael L. Brown, who is here with us in the chambers this evening. And Commissioner Cooney will be reading that. Vice Mayor Hess.
Thank you, Mayor. While you're making your way down, I just want to reiterate that we're very excited that this is Paint the Town Green Week, and Commissioner Pradle and I got the memo, and as did City Manager Jim Rissma did that on purpose as well. So let's all paint the town green. I believe the City Hall will be painted green in the front with our lights as well this week. So September as Big Brothers, Big Sisters Month. Whereas if you want to come forward, Amy. Whereas Big Brothers Big Sisters of Southwest Michigan has served children and families in our community for over 65 years, providing life-changing one-to-one mentoring relationships that ignite the power and promise of youth. And whereas the organization's mission to create and support strong, enduring relationships helps ensure that every child in Kalamazoo County can achieve their full potential. And whereas the impact of these mentoring relationships has been demonstrated through recent national research by Harvard University and the U.S. Department of the Treasury, showing increased educational attainment, higher earnings, reduced reliance on public assistance, and greater economic mobility for mentored youth. And whereas Big Brothers Big Sisters of Southwest Michigan works in partnership with schools, families, volunteers, businesses, and community organizations to strengthen our city through connection, equity, and trust. And whereas the month of September is recognized nationally as Big Brothers Big Sisters Month, a time to honor the volunteers, staff, supporters, and community partners who make this mission possible. Now, therefore, on behalf of the 55th City Commission and David F. Anderson, Mayor of the City of Kalamazoo, I do hereby proclaim September 2025 as Big Brothers Big Sisters Month in the City of Kalamazoo, and commend Big Brothers Big Sisters of Southwest Michigan for its continued dedication to mentoring and its profound impact on the lives of young people in our community. Thank you so much, Amy and Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Thank you for the proclamation. It means quite a bit for us, not only locally, but nationally. Big Brothers Big Sisters, we've been in the community 67 years and continue to provide high-quality mentoring services to kids age 6 through 18. So I know all of you want to sign up to be mentors, and you can do so later tonight, I'm sure. And just please help us get the word out that there are over 100 kids right now in Kalamazoo waiting to be matched with a big. So thank you.
Hello, we are going to have Miss Lucy come to the podium for us. Diaper Need Awareness Week, September 15th through the 21st, 2025. Whereas diaper need, the condition of not being able to afford a sufficient supply of clean diapers to keep babies and toddlers clean, dry, and healthy, can impact the health and well-being of children and their families. And whereas national surveys and research studies report that nearly half of all families struggle with diaper need, and 48% of families delay changing a diaper to extend the available supply. And whereas a daily or weekly supply of diapers is generally an eligibility requirement for babies and toddlers to participate in child care programs and quality early education programs that enable children to thrive and caregivers to work. And whereas many caregivers struggling with diaper need report missing an average of 5 days of work each month due to insufficient supply of diapers. And whereas, without enough diapers, babies and toddlers risk infections and health problems that may require medical attention, resulting in medical costs, and caregivers may be prevented from assessing child care needed to go to work or school, thereby destabilizing the family's economic prospects and well-being. And whereas, the people of Kalamazoo recognize that diaper need is a public health issue. And addressing diaper need can lead to economic opportunity for the city's families and communities and improved health for children, thus ensuring all children and families have access to the basic necessities required to thrive and reach their full potential. And whereas, through their important work of addressing diaper need, diaper banks play a critical role in supporting families, improving infant health and well-being, and advancing our local economic growth. Now therefore, on behalf of the 55th City Commission and David F. Anderson, Mayor of the City of Kalamazoo, I do hereby proclaim September 15th through the 21st, 2025 as Diaper Need Awareness Week in Kalamazoo, and encourage the citizens of Kalamazoo to donate generously to diaper banks, diaper drives, and support those organizations that collect and distribute diapers to families struggling with diaper need, so that all of Kalamazoo's children and families can thrive and reach their full potential.
Hi, I'm Lucy. I'm 9. I potty trained 6 years ago, but I still know diapers are important, and some parents don't have enough, even in our town. Care Collective provides diapers to families who need it. You should come volunteer. It's super fun. Thank you for having me.
This is a proclamation honoring Pastor Michael L. Brown. Whereas Pastor Michael L. Brown is a distinguished leader, decorated veteran, and faithful servant of God whose life is defined by unwavering faith, selfless service, and a deep devotion to the transformation of communities. And whereas after serving more than 23 years of active duty in the United States Navy, in 1992 he transitioned to the Fleet Reserve and officially retired in December 2000, carrying forward the discipline, leadership, and dedication instilled through his military service. And whereas in 1997, Pastor Brown began his ministry work at the Kalamazoo Gospel Mission as maintenance minister, and over the years provided leadership as the men's ministry director, men's discipleship program manager, and interim executive director before assuming the permanent role of president and CEO in 2003. And whereas under his leadership, KGM has experienced financial growth, program expansion, including a merger with Kalamazoo Deacons Conference and a new $10 million women's and children's building, and a renewed focus on eternal impact through the practical application of biblical principles. And whereas his exceptional contributions have been recognized through numerous awards and honors, including Distinguished Veteran of the Year from the Metropolitan Kalamazoo branch of the NAACP in 2021, Honorary Doctor of Divinity from International Seminary in 2022, Distinguished Veteran of the Quarter, the Kalamazoo County Veterans Committee in 2022, Vice President of the Great Lakes Region 2024 from Citygate Network, and the Oath of Gilead Community Service Award in 2025 from the Northside Ministerial Alliance of Kalamazoo. And whereas Pastor Brown's bold and compassionate leadership style, inspiring sermons, often accompanied by heartfelt worship, and his personal mission to die on empty have left a lasting mark on pastors, politicians, and community leaders alike, while transforming countless lives within the community. And whereas alongside his wife, Rosemary, Pastor Brown continues to serve as family care pastor at Stone's Church, mentoring couples, guiding young leaders, and filling relational voids caused by broken homes or absent parental figures. And whereas even in retirement from military service, Pastor Brown continued to honor his fellow veterans by officiating memorial services in uniform upon request, while also embracing life as a true Renaissance man, whose greatest joy is serving God and others. Now, therefore, on behalf of the 55th City Commission, David F. Anderson, Mayor of the city, we do hereby recognize and honor Pastor Michael L. Brown for his extraordinary service to God, his country, and his community.
Thank you very much. I'm deeply grateful for this honor. I would be remiss if I did not just say that nobody can accomplish any of this without their partnerships. First of all, the partnership with my wife, her undying support, the partnership of a strong ministry team, some of which are here this evening, and then the partnerships that we forged with this commission in this city, specifically with Vice Mayor Hass and my friend David Anderson, Mr. Mayor. So I'm grateful. I want to thank you all, and my hope is that these relationships will continue on in the future as we approach the challenges of homelessness, serving the people in our community. God bless you all. Thank you so much.
A very, very small percentage of the representatives of people who do great work all around Kalamazoo every single day end up coming to a commission meeting for a proclamation. But this is a representation of a community that cares, and people who act in all kinds of ways every day to build a place where people feel cared for and can thrive. So I really, really appreciate everyone who came for the proclamations this evening. We are now going to move back to the introduction of guests and a Metro update, and I know Kurt Ardema is here. Is it just you, Kurt, doing this? I think so, yeah. Okay, you are on your own. Okay, Kurt Ardema, Chair of the Kalamazoo County Transportation Authority and Central County Transportation Authority boards. Welcome, Kurt.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. As the mayor mentioned, I'm currently serving as chair of the CCTA and KCTA. These are two county boards, county-linked boards that work to provide governance for the metro system in Kalamazoo. The Central County Transportation Authority is the urbanized area, the cities around the county, primarily in the core, and then the KCTA is the county-wide organization that provides on-demand services to anybody in the county. So they're two separate groups, but meet together and jointly to keep Metro running within the community. I'm going to go through a summary of kind of what we've been up to at Metro. I'm doing it as a board member. Staff was double booked tonight, so I'm happy to take questions back to staff as well. So, and I think a lot of people know this as well, but in terms of what Metro does, it's serving a broad spectrum of the community, and the list is here. I won't read through the whole list, but we know it serves many who have no other choices for transportation, as well as students, and provides a lot of access to jobs. It's also an economic development tool that often doesn't get recognized, but it's the ability to get employees to the employers, and we frequently get calls from employers saying, when can we get bus service or connect service out to this location around the county? So we're constantly working with that, and then seniors as well, certainly a big piece of the group that's served. So, and this carries on into that a little bit more as an economic driver. I don't know if it's not fully loading there, but this is the ratio, the breakdown of how the different services are being provided. A lot for work, some for school, some for shopping as well. And then here's a little bit of a graph that shows that breakdown as well. So Metro Bus, some of these numbers are surprising to some. 1.7 million rides over the past year, so over a 12-month period, 1.7 million rides in a county with 265,000 people. That's a lot of people that are using the bus every day, almost 5,000 trips per day. There is an intention to keep it as affordable as possible. We're constantly looking at that and managing that with the budget, but it remains an affordable option within Kalamazoo. Accessible, that's a key piece of what we do as well. And then there are lots of important partnerships within the community. WMU, so I had a chance to be up at the Bronco Bash just a couple of weeks ago, and it's amazing the number of students that flow past the Metro table and say, I don't have any way to get around. How do I get to the engineering school? How do I get downtown? How do I get to the airport? How do I get to groceries? And Metro's the answer for most of them that are coming through. And we've got some new services that are being provided to help enhance that as well. And then the business community, we have a partnership with Bronson and their employees, and I'll certainly mention as well the partnership with the city and Kalamazoo Public Schools, the Foundation for Excellence in particular, with the youth mobility program and providing bus service to students within, high school students within Kalamazoo Public Schools. And then a KVCC partnership as well. Community safety and emergency operations. So some may not know this, but when there are incidents that occur in the community, for example, if there's an apartment building fire that occurs in the wintertime, where does everybody go in the immediate situation? A lot of times it's a Metro bus that's out on the street that provides the ability for people to stay warm from a large building. During the I-94 crash that occurred where there were 100 plus cars, this is probably 10 years ago now, but Metro buses went out there and provided that emergency support service as well. So one of those aspects of Metro that maybe isn't top of mind, but is certainly important in the community. The Metro Connect system, this is an on-demand service that's available countywide. This can take you across the entire county, so including the VA hospital in Battle Creek, which is on the edge of Kalamazoo County. 135 rides offered over the past year, and this is a lot of medical appointments and, again, access for people who may not have another option to get to important appointments around the county. MetroLink is the new service. I mentioned we have some new services coming out. MetroLink is under a pilot program right now. It's an on-demand service. You can think of it similar to like an Uber or Lyft system. It's in a pilot mode, so we have 3 different zones wrapped around the county right now that are intentionally designed to bring people closer to the bus lines. So you can move within those zones, but you can also get a direct ride on short notice. I think it says here, one of our slides, it's about 15 minutes roughly. You can hail a ride and it will come pick you up and take you either to the bus line or to your final destination, depending on where you're going within that area. And the app programs all that on your phone as well. And then the 3 service zones are listed here. Again, they kind of wrap around City of Kalamazoo during this pilot program. That will be adjusted and amended as the program continues. The rationale for the zones on the edges of the City of Kalamazoo. City of Kalamazoo is the heart of the bus system, so there are many, many bus lines servicing the city. And again, this is intended to bring people into the bus system itself. So the bus lines run up and down through the City of Kalamazoo, but not some of these edges that are shown in these MetroLink zones. So this helps to extend that reach a little bit of the bus system. And then in terms of growth, 81,000 rides since it was introduced in April 2024. Part of a $2 million grant from MDOT as well. This is showing growth in ridership, so you can see it's becoming more and more popular. WMU students are finding this service and realizing the benefit of having access to this for their lifestyle as well. And then you can see a breakdown. The bottom graph there, bottom chart is new and returning continue to grow in terms of riders. And this is so MetroLink, we have a partnership with Kalamazoo County bringing service out into Pavilion Estates. So Pavilion Estates was hard hit by the tornado last year, and so a lot of vehicles were damaged in that process as well. Kalamazoo County worked with Metro to partner up and provide some grant dollars to bring this service out into Pavilion Township. This is shown as an example of opportunities for growth to continue to connect our broader region together. And 12 minutes, a little better than I said 15. It's about 12 minutes average pickup time. And there's some other key stats there for MetroLink as well. So this is overall Metro system budgeted expenses for 2026. $27.5 million roughly to run the system. This is a system that provides access to a lot of different people, but there are certainly costs to running it as well. There's a breakdown here of how the funding takes place, where it comes in from. You can see a mix of state and federal dollars in addition to local millage dollars, and then fares as well that come in, and some of the partnerships in that chart as well. We do have an upcoming millage election in November 4th of 2025. We have a millage election. The areas shaded in gray will be on, this will be on their ballot. This is the urbanized area, so City of Kalamazoo, Comstock Township, Oshimo Township, City of Parchment, Kalamazoo Township, and City of Portage. And it is a slight increase to 1.1 mills. This is in response to 1, request for additional services, 2, challenges at the state level from a funding standpoint. There is no budgeted amount from the state right now, so to maintain levels of service, we are trying to anticipate some potential additional local funding to make that happen. That's why the millage slight increase is there as well. And then federal funding questions at the same time. So a lot of unknowns on the horizon, so we're trying to be in front of that. This is a 5-year millage request. And again, I listed the areas that this will include, but primarily Metro bus service and MetroLink. Connect runs through the Kalamazoo County-wide millage, which will be up in 2026. This is just a chart showing, I mentioned the state challenges, so this is percentage of a dollar that comes back to Metro for services. You can see it dropping from almost 35 down to roughly 26 looking out into next year. So pretty significant drop in terms of state dollars that come back to help support local transit, including Metro. Goals for the future, continue to look at mobility solutions for all, so continue to look on the horizon. What's next? How do we do that? What is there from a growth standpoint. Metro Link is a response to that already. Our goal is to continue to grow ridership, enhance the rider experience, and then continue to grow those community partnerships. The partnership with the city and the Foundation for Excellence is a great model of we've got this need of students that have either jobs after work or after school sports or after school items that they're doing, and they still need access to transportation that the school bus system can't provide. So with this partnership through the city and FFE and Metro, we've found success through this process. That's all I have for presentation. Tried to keep it brief. I'm happy to answer questions about Metro and appreciate all the support that the city has provided over the years to make Metro successful.
Thank you so much for being here, Chair Ardema. I appreciate you. Questions, commissioners?
Great.
Vice Mayor Hess?
Sure. One brief question, Kurt. So in the upcoming millage election, increasing to 1.1 mils from?
Correct. I believe it was 0.9.
Okay.
So slight increase to 1.1.
0.2 of a mil?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Braille?
Sure. Kurt, thanks for being here. Question for you. You mentioned that the Metro Link program is really catching on and it's continuing to grow. How much of this millage increase is baked into that planned growth for the Metro Link program?
It's a part of it. I don't have the exact stats on what percentage it is to that growth, but again, the Metro Link program is started through some special grants that came in through MDOT, 2 rounds of those, and the pilot program, we are going to be, by the time we're done, I think we had an 18-month program, and then we're adding another, I think 12 months to that, so we'll have a fair amount of information available by the time those pilot funds are finished, and the budget itself will kind of depend on how enhanced those services become going forward, but certainly the community is embracing it. We can see it continue to grow going forward. So it will be a portion. It won't be a large portion of the budget. The large portion is for staffing of the overall system, but the Metro Link is a special program that we do hope to grow, and I'm happy to get the specifics for you as well, Commissioner Bradel.
Appreciate that. And
sure.
This is just a plug for something that I'd love to get on your radar and the team at Metro.
Sure.
So probably read in the news recently that there were 2, one was a death that happened over in Patterson with somebody who was intoxicated, driving at very dangerous speeds. There's another accident that happened right downtown where somebody crashed into a building while they were intoxicated. I know Western at one time had Drive Safe Kalamazoo program that could support folks when they're drinking and make a safe trip home. I saw the time frame that they offer services till 10:15. Would really challenge us as a community to maybe think creatively about, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, especially to provide that as an option for people to make safe choices at the end of their night. I worry about that a lot. I have some personal experiences with loss of somebody who died in a drunk driving accident, and I think that could be something perhaps we could look at creatively to maybe address in the future.
That's a great point. I know in roughly 2018, 2019, we did look at some late night services that was put on hold during 2020 and the pandemic. We do hope to bring some of those later evening services back. I would say in my time on the board, at one point, we didn't even have a Sunday service, so we're kind of incrementally trying to grow the system to a point where it reaches as many people as possible, and I think that's a great point, and there are several of us on the board, myself included, who would love to see that late night option in the evenings in particular, and as we reach out to a broader population, that's certainly on the list.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Other comments or questions? Commissioner Decker?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chair Ardema. Just a couple of questions. So this is going to be on our ballot for November 4th. And we love that you're coming here and talking to us and talking to the community. But how else does the Metro will be doing the community engagement to really let everyone know how important this service is and what it can become if funded?
Yeah, good question. So there is as a board, we don't get directly involved in the millage process. There is a campaign committee that is working Alongside Metro's initiatives, the campaign committee is doing a bunch of outreach. There's survey work happening. I know every year, this year in particular with the millage upcoming, there's a lot of outreach to the ridership base to understand what the existing rider needs are. But one of the things the campaign committee is out doing is doing these discussions, these types of meetings. So there's survey work happening, but there's also a lot of direct discussions with people around the county, boards such as yourself, but also different community groups as well. I mentioned I was at Bronco Bash. I know we've been at several, our executive director, Sean McBride's at the City of Parchment right now as well. So I know there's a lot of outreach happening, and I think we also have board meetings that take place once a month, and we're always happy to have people come to our board meetings as well. And if there's any suggestions, happy to take those and meet with different groups that are interested in the community. It's critical. I think having those discussions we understand what the needs are, and one piece is understanding what the existing ridership needs are. Another is understanding those who maybe aren't accessing the system right now but would like to, and what the barriers are to entry for the system. So we're trying to do all of those, but again, happy to take ideas.
Thank you for that. And just a few more questions. So I used to work with an organization, and we used to get a lot of Metro ID cards. And one of the issues that came up, I don't know if it's changed in the last few months or whatnot, was that if you lost that ID card, you had to come back and buy a brand new one. And that can definitely be detrimental to someone who's living on a fixed income that uses the Metro system to get to and from work, to provide for their family. Have you guys thought about how you can maybe fix that system to where, I mean, people lose things, things get stolen, you know, that could be the difference between keeping your job and not keeping your job. I definitely understand that there is a mobile app that someone could have, but when you talk about some of our underserved and some of our individuals that don't have the opportunity to always plug up their phone, it may not always be on, but may have an ID. So I'm just trying to figure out, you know, could you guys maybe look into a way to where if someone was in that position and if they lost their card and that was their only way of transportation, how they could just get maybe a new card with just that balance that's left on it, right? Because sometimes people will go and spend, you know, $100 on a card. If their stuff gets stolen, I mean, that's their ride to work. That was just, you know, an observation and a hurdle that some of the individuals that I work with came across.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, I know there's this lovely young woman, I don't know if she's still there right now, and her name is escaping me, but talk to me about how our Hispanic community also gets this information. Are these things in Spanish? Do you have individuals that are Spanish speaking? If they call there, they're able to talk to someone and understand what they're saying. So I guess I'm just kind of wondering about that aspect of it.
Sure. So first on the card, so as far as I know, the policy hasn't changed on the cards. I think it's a good question, though. I'm happy to bring it up at the board level and see the thoughts on, especially if there's remaining balance, how does that balance maybe transfer over? I know you mentioned phones. I will say, though, the technology continues to become more and more a part of the package for Metro. I think there always will be some sort of option that's not related to your phone, but we are seeing more and more transition to having your phone be kind of your access into the system, your key into the system. But that's not the case for everybody. I know I still have a card, and I still use, and it certainly is, whether it's here or in other cities as well, I still sometimes prefer not to have it on the phone. So I will bring it up at the board meeting and ask that question. It's a good point that needs to be heard. In terms of different languages that may be offered, I will ask that question. I know we have a travel trainer that is on staff that can provide access to on multiple levels, but I will confirm that and make sure it's reported back to make sure that we have some answer to that question. But again, we do have a travel trainer that is intending to kind of bridge those gaps, whether it be language or technology or whatever it might be. And the board is very focused on continuing to grow access to the system in that way. And that travel trainer is intended to fill that role.
Thank you for that. And so I'm just going to go back to the cards. And this is just my thought. Maybe you guys can do a study, a comparison on the amount of cards you sell. And I mean, well, obviously, I mean, it would seem to me that if someone lost their card and, you know, they paid for that service, somehow you can do a query to say, hey, this person only used $1 on their card. It may be more, you know, back-end work on your guys' side when it comes to the operations. I'm just thinking about making sure that we're keeping the funds that people in our city are using, you know, in their hands. Because if they don't use it, then, you know, that would be more income to the metro. You kind of get where I'm going there. I just want to make sure it's equitable and everybody's, you know, getting their money's worth of the metro. I think it's a great service. I think it's wonderful. I do agree with Commissioner Pradel that it definitely should be open for later hours in the evening, just for the fact of individuals thinking they can drive home and shouldn't drive home. And I think that would definitely curb a lot of, you know, alcohol-related deaths in the city of Kalamazoo. So I appreciate what Metro's doing. Keep growing. Keep providing transportation to the citizens of the Kalamazoo that don't have it otherwise. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. And we know it's a public service. We have a dedicated board of volunteers that are focused on enhancing, growing that service. And I think these are all good questions, good points that I will bring to the two boards and make sure we get feedback from staff and then relay that feedback to this commission as well. So thank you.
Vice Mayor Hess?
Really quick. Sure. Kurt, I know you provide an amazing service, but you're also an employer. Are you hiring at any level?
Yes, good question. Thank you for asking. Yes, the Metro is hiring for multiple different types of jobs. In particular, since the pandemic, it has been many employers are struggling to fill positions, but Metro does have opportunities on the Metro website. Is a great place to look, and the organization has multiple different areas in which it works. Bus operators are probably the most visible that you see out in the community, but there is a lot of back-of-house operations that occur to keep that system running as well, whether it be related to IT and technology or answering phone calls for those with questions, community outreach type work. We have a lot of maintenance and tech type work as well. If anybody has been to the facility on Rose Street, you've seen some of that operation happening and in place. And every day, with the exception of a handful of holidays, that system is up and running, and it takes a lot of people to keep it running smoothly and through all types of weather conditions and whatever it might be. Even during the pandemic, the system had a very brief shutdown, and then as an essential service, it was required to be back up and running again. And so the system innovated in that time and came up with a solution that worked for that period of time. But yes, there are job opportunities available, and I would encourage everybody to check the website if you're interested.
Yes, Commissioner Hoffman.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Kurt. I have a question in reference to a program that has been discussed with the Veteran Services Office at the county in reference to partnering with Metro for our veterans and getting them more accessibility. Do you have any updates or anything on where we are in that process?
I don't directly, but my understanding is that staff is working with that office as much as possible. I know we are providing services through an innovative agreement to the VA hospital in Battle Creek for veterans. We don't typically, we don't have a mechanism to provide service outside of the Kalamazoo County borders because of the way we're funded, but we were able to come to a unique arrangement with the VA hospital, which is on the border of Kalamazoo and Calhoun County, to make sure that service was there because there's a huge need for it. And so I will ask the executive director to provide an update and just see where that's at from a discussion standpoint. But I know that piece of it is done and available right now to the VA hospital.
Thank you for that. And it was maybe an expansion of programming whereby we have the youth who have bus passes and getting something like that on deck for veterans who could utilize those services.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, in terms of providing service, just everyday service, not just the VA hospital. Yeah, good thought. Sure, happy to update on that as soon as I get the information. Thanks.
Other questions, thoughts, commissioners? Well, Chair Irma, thank you so much for coming here. I just want to remind people that for anyone who wonders if there's anything that they can do to be more involved in the city of Kalamazoo, I will say that we have an excellent example here, Kurt Ardema, who serves on multiple boards, all volunteer, but there are board opportunities all across the community, including right here at the city. We're appointing a couple people to city boards this evening later in our agenda, but thank you for being an awesome example of that. And then just a little bit about history here for just a minute or two. Metro Transit really started out as a private bus line in the city of Kalamazoo, a private business, and was, I think, went bankrupt or was on the verge of going bankrupt, and the city of Kalamazoo picked up that bus service and saved it, in essence, and ran the bus service for a long, long time. And then as the urban area developed and became evident that this kind of transportation was needed, in Portage and other places adjacent to the city, and urban services as well. Really, the city went through a process of birthing Metro Transit out from a city department, not so awfully long ago, to a standalone legal entity, which it is now. And so thank you for serving on that board. That is what is necessary for citizen input on the great operations of a public service like Metro Transit. So thank you again, Chair Ardema.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity. Thanks.
Now we are down to the adoption of the formal agenda. Any changes? Oh, I'm sorry. Adoption of the formal agenda is before communications, right? Yeah. What do you want to say about the adoption of the formal agenda? Yeah.
Yeah, we would like to have the item F2 removed from the agenda for consideration this evening, and it will be brought forward at a future date.
Okay, thank you, Manager Ritzma. Commissioners, are there any items on I'm sorry, not F, but G, the consent agenda, that you would like to have moved to the regular agenda? Seeing none, and with that one change, we'll continue ahead with the agenda. Next, Manager Ritzma, Communications.
Thank you, Mayor. I do want to let the community know that an RFP was issued last week, Thursday, by the county, Kalamazoo County, City of Kalamazoo, the Kalamazoo Continuum of Care, and United Way to provide shelter services during the winter months. So the providers would be asked to provide a combination of day shelter services, overnight shelter services, and shelter access coordination. And the city, between the partners, $700,000 has been identified for those proposals, and of which the city of Kalamazoo is contributing $300,000 from the $500,000 that the commission authorized for sheltering earlier this year. So the timeline for the process is proposals are due October 9th at 5 p.m. and those can be sent to Director Patrice Griffin of the Kalamazoo County Continuum of Care. And then notification of awards will be made on October 27th. And the contract start date would be November 1, 2025, and run through March 31 of 2026. And just want to thank the partners coming together. I know each year it seems like we are scrambling to find sheltering services, especially during extreme weather conditions. So we look forward to organizations stepping up. So organizations that are eligible to apply are nonprofit organizations, governmental entities, and community service providers. So I just wanted the community to know that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Manager Ritzma. I appreciate that. Next is the opportunity for public comments. So this is your opportunity to comment in any item you would like. You'll have 4 minutes. Please state your name and whether you live in the city. Just a reminder, this is not a time for dialogue. This is a time for you to express the sentiments you are interested in expressing. And also, if there are particular issues that are important to you related to city activities, if you want to have a follow-up, you can make sure to put your contact information here on the sign-in sheet, and you can certainly do that before it's time for you to come up and speak, and oftentimes city staff will follow up with particular issues. 4 minutes, state your name, whether you live in the city. Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Christy Potts. I'm the owner of Kalamazoo Cream, home of the Frosted Whispers at 1502 Southwest Nidge, what formerly was Taco Bob's, and before that was Dairy Queen. What started out as a cookie business, sharing my mother's secret cream cheese sugar cookie recipe, turned into now a community building hub, in my opinion. I couldn't have done it without the City of Kalamazoo economic development support and also Michigan Women's Forward. They gave me all the resources I needed to move forward with my dream. What started out as just wanting to share the love of my mother's cookies and yummy Prairie Farms soft serve ice cream, which comes out of Battle Creek, Michigan, is turned into my love of the Vine neighborhood. I have all of that neighborhood and the surrounding neighborhoods biking to my business now. I see families showing up and having ice cream together and cookies and whatever else they would like to see in the future. I want to bring it to them. I am there many, many hours, 11 a.m., sometimes till midnight, and I get to see all types, all different people coming there, and just love seeing the smiles on their faces, and I couldn't have done it without the city's help, and I just wanted to thank you for that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, please.
How are we doing, folks? Beautiful stuff. Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Ewan Simpson. I'm here on behalf of the Get the Flock Out of Kalamazoo campaign. Our campaign is calling for the immediate and permanent removal of flock safety license plate reader cameras from our city. Those are those nasty black cameras you see on telephone poles that are popping up everywhere. These are billed as public safety tools, but they're far from it. These are surveillance tools that threaten the privacy, civil liberties, and everybody in Kalamazoo. These cameras, they sweep up data indiscriminately, recording every vehicle that passes. This happens without warrants, without consent, and often without our knowledge. It creates a digital map of our lives that can be stored, searched, and exploited in ways that this community has not agreed to. The data is collected by these cameras and is held by an unaccountable third-party tech company called Flock Safety. This gives them immense power and makes the city vulnerable. This technology has already been used by federal agencies like ICE for immigration enforcement, and data from Kalamazoo's cameras were most likely used in a nationwide search to track a woman who had an abortion, something that is legal in the state of Michigan. These cameras are a threat, and the legal risks of this relationship are immense. We've seen local governments face millions in lawsuits when this technology is used improperly or proves to be wrong. And who bears that cost? The local taxpayer, not Flock Safety. And the risk isn't just legal, it's political. The Trump administration has openly promised to target political opponents. Keeping these cameras in place in our community hands him the tools for political repression. Will Kalamazoo be complicit in that, or will you be proactive and act to protect our company? The mayor says Kalamazoo cares. how much do you care about this community? The decision to install these cameras was made at a different political moment. But today, in this new political moment, you have to reevaluate. Real safety comes from trust and investment in people, not from mass surveillance. Our campaign has 3 simple demands. Firstly, an immediate removal of all flock cameras and ending all the contracts. Secondly, conduct a full, public, independent audit of all data sharing agreements between flock and similar vendors, the city, and federal agencies. And thirdly, reinvest the money saved, because we have to pay a lot of money for these flock cameras that are spying on us, reinvest that into critical community services. Let's buy some diapers for those kids. That's what I like to think the money's better used for. And finally, I want to address the local press we have here today. We encourage you to file Freedom of Information Act requests to shed light on this issue. We need to request all the contracts, internal policy manuals, correspondence, audit reports, legal opinions, and, of course, the marketing materials. The community ultimately deserves to know what was promised to the city and how our data is being used and who is using it. We don't know how many of these cameras are in our community, and we're encouraging people to note the locations of the cameras in their communities and log them at the website dflock.me. We also encourage people to sign our petition at southwestmichigandsa.com/flock. We ask in this very stressful political moment to be proactive and to look after our community and to make sure that we don't have to return here and say, hey guys, these cameras are used to rip apart a family in our community, and you let that happen. Let's be proactive about this. Let's tear out this invasive surveillance structure that may be completely illegal, but we've seen this Trump administration, this fascist regime, are more than happy to bend the rules and use these tools to oppress people for the slightest grievances. And we cannot allow these tools to remain in place here in Kalamazoo. If it's okay with Mayor Anderson, I'm going to leave after public comment. I know you have a bit of a problem with that, but I got stuff to do. So I thank everyone for your time today. And I really hope to be working with you on this issue in the future. Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks so much. Next, please. So here, I appreciate everyone's support for that, and I get it, but one thing I'm going to ask is that this is a safe space for people to make statements about something that's important to them. And I don't want it to be a place where some statements may be booed and some statements may be applauded. So I'm just asking you to respectfully, I understand the support, but please don't turn this into a kind of a competition of either applauding or booing here in our business meeting. I appreciate that. Next, please.
Good evening, council members, mayor, deputy mayor, and thank you for the opportunity to share a few highlights from this year's Canadiana Fest. I'd like to introduce to you Bobby Bierver. Many of you have met Callum A. Moose, who has back home doing a lot of work for our festival this weekend. And we want to share that Canadiana Fest's Can-Am Peace Jam is a vibrant, free, inclusive celebration of Canadian heritage right here in Kalamazoo. We're proud to say that this year's festival is already breaking attendance records with reserved tickets and bringing together families, artists, and leaders from across America. Canadiana Fest is more than just a free admission party. It's a platform for unity across the country, not just Kalamazoo. In 2024, we hosted guests from 6 states and 2 Canadian provinces. This year, we're honored to welcome Elder Daisy Costas from the Waswanipi First Nations, Cree in Canada, who will be sharing traditional teachings. We're excited to welcome Councilman Reginald Agostino from my hometown of Windsor, Ontario, and he will join us to strengthen cross-border ties. We'd also like to welcome Anne Saint-Jean from Délégation du Québec, which is representing the cultural richness of French Canada. We're also thrilled to welcome Jeffrey Price, Regional President of Canadian National Railway, our title sponsor and second year, who've already told us they want in for 2026. Renee Sefaraza, a celebrity sommelier from Canada, will be joining us and doing some pretty exclusive wine tastings across the entire event, as Pelee Island is our exclusive winery in 2025. Our third-year sponsor, Clearly Canadian, is going to be bringing their iconic international beverage brand and official sparkling water of the Toronto Blue Jays. They will be offering their beverages not only for custom non-alcoholic cocktails, but also to support food banks to the tune of over $18,000 in just 2 years. These guests, along with support from dozens of organizations, from food banks to art councils, are helping us to build this festival that's as meaningful as it is fun. It includes 5 cultural bands representing folk, our Indigenous people, country music, Acadian music from Quebec, and Scottish and rock and roll music. There is a children's cultural center with crafts, face painting, and a Sasquatch challenge. A lumberjack village featuring a log rolling game, which will be attended by one Canadian, one US pro wrestler who will be having a special exhibition showing on the log rolling game of Doom, which is gonna be pretty fun. We have a Canadian Sports Center sponsored by Premier Athletics and attended and supported by WMU athletes, including WMU Bronco national champion hockey players, some of whom happen to be Canadian. We're offering a poutine competition, a butter tart competition, and we're going to be offering those funds for registering to the food banks. We offer interactive workshops, including an Ottawa step dancing workshop. You can come up then and dance with Cecilia when they play at 6 p.m. We also have readings from Canadian authors and specialists on the Great Lakes, Dr. who happens to be a professor at Gavel. So in closing, we'd like to invite you to get your tickets at CanadianFest.fun. Come and join us. Celebrate your cousins and friends, and we'll see you this Saturday.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Mic free to speak. Greetings, members of the City Council. My name is Aiden Deweese. Me and my colleagues live in Kalamazoo, and we are students of Western Michigan University. They are associates, and I am the current president of Feeding Broncos, a student-led organization that acts as a hunger relief program for food insecure college students in the city of Kalamazoo. With it being Hunger Awareness Month, we would like to present this petition for funding that has received over 700 signatures. To the Honorable Mayor David Anderson and the Kalamazoo City Commission, we, the undersigned students at Western Michigan University, respectfully petition your esteemed office to consider granting $25,000 to support a vital initiative providing free dinners to food insecure college students in our city from 2025 through 2027. Kalamazoo is home to a vibrant student population attending institutions such as Western Michigan University, Kalamazoo College, and KVCC. Many of these students, while striving for academic success and making positive contributions to our city, face significant challenges in meeting their basic nutritional needs. According to recent studies, food insecurity among college students is a growing concern nationwide, and Kalamazoo is no exception. By awarding this grant, the City of Kalamazoo would directly support the well-being, health, and academic achievement of hundreds of young people. Free, nutritious dinners would alleviate financial pressures, reduce stress, and foster a sense of belonging and support within our community. Moreover, this program aligns with Kalamazoo's commitment to inclusivity, education, and the welfare of all its residents. We believe that investing in our students is an investment in Kalamazoo's future. We urge you to consider the positive impact this grant will have, not only on individual students, but also on the broader community, as these young adults are empowered to reach their full potential and give back to the city that we call home. Thank you for your attention, leadership, and commitment to a stronger, more equitable Kalamazoo. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening, Mayor Anderson, Commission, and city staff. My name is Bruce Merchant, and I live at 1924 Autumn Crest Lane, and that's in the city of Kalamazoo. Some of you know me as the former Director of Public Services. Most of you probably do not know that I'm a marathon runner who navigates various city streets in the Oakwood, Southside, Winchell, Parker Duke, Westnedge Hill, Vine, and Edison neighborhoods, just to name some of those neighborhoods. Running many miles allows me to observe several things about the current state of our city streets. Quite frankly, I find myself more concerned with potholes instead of my pace and hurdling obstacles as opposed to my heart rate. I can provide a list of the streets that are in serious need of repair or replacement. Loudon, Edgewood, Waite, Peeler, Pleasant, Parker, Denway, Lane, Lay, Reed, March, the list goes on and on. The issue has been well defined in the past. I struggled with it when I was a public services director, and I know my predecessors did as well. There are no easy or quick solutions to find funding that is needed to address the critical infrastructure issues the city faces. How much funding is needed? With approximately 250 miles of streets, about a third of which are major and 2/3 are local streets, the city has more work than resources. Using an approximation that was used several years ago, it costs roughly $1 million per road mile to completely redo a street. To rebuild all 250 miles would mean $250 million. Assuming the street will last approximately 20 to 25 years, if rebuilt, that would mean the city would need between $10 to $12 million annually to properly address this issue over the next 20 to 25 years. Where do infrastructure funds currently come from? Almost exclusively from general fund, which also pays for such things as public safety and parks. At the end of the budget process, and I went through numerous of those, the infrastructure needs usually end up with only $3 to $4 million at most, instead of the calculated 10 to 12 million. With these things in mind, I would like to suggest some possible pathways that we could maybe look forward to and address in the future to help with this funding gap. First, create a dedicated City Commission subcommittee to define the infrastructure needs. This would include streets, sidewalks, stormwater improvements. Explore those issues in detail and investigate ways to address the lack of available resources. Evaluate the possible resources that may be available for the City Commission to access and conduct these improvements. Some of those may include additional funds from the Foundation for Excellence, or even a dedicated millage to cover the needed costs. There's no easy answers. I didn't have them. My predecessors didn't have them. You don't have them. However, we need to proactively look at ways to generate the necessary resources to address these critical infrastructure needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hello, City Commissioners. My name is Nick Beal. I'm the Business Development Coordinator for Discover Kalamazoo. I'm also a proud Bronco alum as of last December, and I love Kalamazoo. I go to bed every night thinking of how myself and our organization can improve Kalamazoo, and I wake up every morning thinking that as well. I know you guys do. And I just came here today to share some information about some events happening in Kalamazoo this weekend. So yeah, I think that's one small thing I can do to help share some positivity in our community. But anyways, so this Saturday at the Kalamazoo Battle Creek International Airport, there is going to be an art fair event happening from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. So you can head over to AZO to experience some art on display, some giveaways, food and drinks from local vendors, and there'll also be some other DIY activities. It'll be a fun activity for the whole family, really. I'm not going to go too much into Canadiana Fest 2025. We had some other representation who I'm sure know a lot more about it than I do, but I would like to reiterate that it is a free event. There will be some friendly or maybe unfriendly, I don't know, competition going on, so that should be a great time as well. We've also got one of our longest running annual events in town starting this Friday, the National Street Rod Association. We've got their National North competition in Kalamazoo this weekend, Friday and Saturday at the Expo Center. That is not a free event, but you can purchase tickets for $20 with discounts for children as well as for active military members, and I believe children under 5 are free as well. And you can go there to see close to 1,200 pre-1996 specialty vehicles. And yeah, it's a really fun event that we do every year in Kalamazoo. And then also starting next week, we've got the 269 Fest, which is sort of a culmination of events going on around the community during the week. Specifically this Saturday, there's going to be the Bell's 40th anniversary party. I'll be there with my family. They're coming in from Indiana, where I'm originally from. Should be a great time. Like I said, it's their 40th anniversary. They're going to have the 1985 band playing there. And so, yeah, it should be a really fun weekend. And we've also got Sounds of the Zoo coming up next weekend. So lots of great things going on in Kalamazoo right now that I just wanted to share with you and also everybody here. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next, please.
Good evening. My name is Leah Pulley, and I am a resident on Staples on the north side of Kalamazoo. And I was born and raised in Kalamazoo, and I moved away for 7 years, and I came back last year. Upon me coming back, I saw that there were several needs that needed to be met. The first need, well, first I'll say I thank you all for what you are doing for our community. I know being in the spotlight is not always easy, and people don't always see the behind the scenes work, so thank you all for your hard work and efforts. But the issue that I'm bringing before you today is the mobile nuisance party. When I was growing up, it was called the X Train. The cars, they speed down the street a lot, so I'm where Patterson and North. So it's a long street, and there's no stopping. So when they're coming, it's almost constant car accidents, and there are a lot of kids on our block. I have a 7-year-old myself, and in a 5-house radius, there are almost 20 children, and 2 of them require special needs. So the issue is the mobile nuisance party and the car speeding down the street. My solution would be the speed bumps. I did have a petition signed, and I did submit that. There were only 2, maybe out of 25, who protested that, who were not in agreement with that. But my question is, it's only been 2 weeks. I'm not sure what the process looks like, but I would like to know when we would hear something. I know that there's like funding. I know it's a process, but I would like to bring that issue to the forefront. And also, I know mentorship is also an issue in our community, and with me being back, I have been hearing and doing research about other community members who are interested in mentorship. I really appreciate everybody who is coming forward to see the need for the homelessness, for the diapers, for the lack of God that we have in our community, for what we need for our community. So I want to thank you all, and if you see me out and about, I am passionate about what I say and do, and I'm passionate about bettering our community. So for those in the audience who know my family or who see me out and about, don't hesitate to reach out to me for partnerships or to let me know what your organization does, because I am looking to be on boards, and I am looking to bring positive change to Kalamazoo. So thank you all for what you do. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, please.
Good evening. My name is Maggie Adams. I do reside in the city, and I'm also a member of Isaac. And first of all, I want to start off by saying thank you to Mayor Anderson, Commissioner Prado and your family, and Commissioner Cooney and your wife for attending on September 6th, the Walk, Run, Roll held by Isaac. We really appreciate your participation as well as your support as we honored individuals who had made an impact in our community here. My next comments are about the community sessions organized by some of our local organizations after we heard, though, that the city was not going to do this. So I'd like to thank these organizations, the NAACP, Isaac, El Concilio, Douglas Community Association, and the Participatory Defense Movement of Kalamazoo for co-hosting a community session seeking input for the next city manager from us in the community that may not have been defined by an organization that the city had determined as a stakeholder. And even if we do belong to one of those organizations, it's just functionally impossible for a leader from any of those organizations to represent the diverse perspectives, priorities, and experiences that exist within or even outside those groups. And I have to say, I really enjoyed my session. I attended the one at the Douglas Association. So thank you to Wendy Fields, Dr. Davis, Kathy Faison for leading those community discussions, helping guide us in a small group to discuss and write down our traits and priorities and qualities that we would like to see in a new city manager. We felt our voices were welcomed. We were encouraged to see this as a civic opportunity for participation that would overall strengthen the health in this community. And I love that we started by using and building a circle of trust with our touchstones in small and large groups. And of course, all of our input was recorded and shared with Raftelis. But I also have to say, this was a missed opportunity for you as a city council. I want to say thank you to Commissioner Hoffman, because you always encouraged to support us about holding community sessions, and I believe in Commissioner Decker and even Wilson at one point also supported this idea. I'm not sure why it didn't happen. And I have to say, at my table, a member actually said at the very beginning, I just found out that the city council did not arrange this. Wow. That was their words, not mine. And I want to address also your comment, Mary Anderson, at the last meeting. Yes, we did ask that the city allow the community to hold and facilitate these sessions. Because it's unfortunate that folks in this community do not feel that they can speak out without some kind of repercussion if city personnel were actually present. And I also want to say, we never stated that the city couldn't assist. We would have loved that Vice Mayor Hess or another committee member for this process would have reached out and said, yeah, let's make this happen. How can we in this council support you? We really do want the community's input in person, as we also value voice as we have the surveys out. And we've been working hard to help support the surveys. But as I said before, there's nothing that can replace or even compare to sitting physically in community with others, listening and sharing together. Support of this kind of dialogue would foster a stronger collaborative process between the residents of the city, creating a foundation for genuine participation that encourages the resident, the stakeholders like me, to get involved and be active partners in their community's future. And it would be a much more positive process with you. We're working with you. It would have helped to build trust so that the next time we're looking for a city manager, we could all be sitting in the same room for the community session, because we trust each other and know that our voices in the community are actively being heard. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. My name is Kathy Faison. I work with Isaac as a Housing Task Force Lead, Canvassing Coordinator, and Community Organizer. I am the Executive Director for Participatory Defense Movement, Kalamazoo, as well as the Chair for the Civil Rights Board. I do live in Township, but all my work directly impacts the city. I want to acknowledge the city's effort, along with Ms. Pamela Whiteman and Raftelis firm, on beginning the process of selecting our next city manager. The stakeholders meeting was a good start, and I especially want to lift up the two successful community-based sessions that followed. These sessions supported by Isaac, El Concilio, NAACP, and Participatory Defense Movement Kalamazoo, as well as the Douglas. It created a space for residents to voice what they want in the next city manager. One of the key questions asked, what advice do you have for the next city manager? I'd like to lift a few responses from community members. Meet regularly with neighborhood leaders. Take time to understand why people feel and think the way that they do. Stay engaged. Don't get too comfortable. Build a new kind of relationship between the city attorney and the Civil Rights Board. Lead with transparency and honesty. develop strong working relationships with all commissioners. And finally, be willing to take risks. Choose a path that makes you comfortable to be uncomfortable. This decision will shape Kalamazoo for the next decade. The fact that community voices have already been lifted is a strong sign of progress. And it shows the importance of continuing this practice. So I urge the Commission to ensure that the insights gathered from these sessions truly guide the selection process and that additional opportunities remain open for community members to engage. The success of this process will be measured not only by who is chosen, but how well the community felt heard and respected along the way. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening to our mayor, our vice mayor, commissioners, manager. My name is Charlotte Davis with Isaac. I want to extend our gratitude to those also who took time to attend our Isaac Walk, Run, Roll, Rally, Resist, and Reform. Thank you to Commissioner Cooney and your wife, Kathy, also to Mayor Anderson, and also to Commissioner Prado, your spouse and family. Thank you to the firefighters who came with the truck for our children, and thank you to all who are in chambers tonight, whether they are candidates or community members who attended. Our youngest that day was 2 months old, and our wisest that day was upper 80 years old. And that was a reminder to me that we are all in this difficult work together. I want to lift our special meeting in August where Raftella shared the next steps with about our city manager search. We want to say that we appreciate Ms. Pamela and her team, and also the search committee as well as their hard work. During public comment time, some of us shared our concerns that there was only a stakeholders meeting, and again letting you all know the importance of having community-hosted sessions. And this is something that we have been lifting for some time now. I have to give Commissioner Hoffman our sincere gratitude, as she not only heard community voices, but she advocated. During that meeting, she kept community centered and brought it up at least 3 different times into the conversation on the mic, often to silence from some of you all. It should not have taken that many times of centering community, but we are thankful for her persistence. Also, thank you to Commissioner Decker, and then also to Commissioner Wilson, who also chimed in for support for evening sessions for those who are working 9 to 5s, and also supporting and asking how to make this happen. It's my hope that next time that this will be honored from start to finish. Now, you all have community members who share and who also care. And as President Field also says, it's not personal, it never is. But it is about the well-being of our community on a systemic level. When you hear the emotion and the anger and the sadness and the concern, it's because we have steep disparities, and all of us in Kalamazoo are not held as beloved. I do ask that you lean into listening with your heart. Defensiveness, though a human nature, only gets in the way of collaborating and also change. It's unlearning and it's learning for all of us. I do encourage all of you and all elected officials to take some time to look at Layla Saad's Day 23. It's entitled You and White Leaders. We all have to be okay moving in the discomfort and being honest and lifting and acknowledging white supremacy culture and how it's in each and every institution and organization. We have passed on this information to Ms. Pamela, including any surveys collected, also verbal feedback. And I just want to share, for example, number 1 talked about the traits. What we saw is that some lifted what was on the survey, some expounded on what was on the survey, and some went with the other section and added new ideas. So just a few here. Honesty and transparency. rebuilding trust, reparations, sincere involvement in community, diversity, equity, and inclusion, but with concrete actions, not backing down to administrative pressure, leadership with a backbone, deep integrity, defends and amplifies civil and constitutional rights, does not back down from challenges, attends to the whole city, not just one area, understands and knows a community, an anti-racism and equity lens, a listener, understanding of racial economics, courageous, and many more. We look forward to that feedback.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hello, I'm Kay. I just had to watch a video of over 10 minutes of a houseless woman begging the cops not to take her partner. She has no legs, so she was on the ground pleading with the cops, yelling and crying, don't take them. A lot of times, people's only, especially women and children's only lifeline out there is a man, is a male figure. Okay, him getting taken like that, and I don't know the backstory, but I know like how things are out there, and it is just, there's a special place in hell. There truly is, because watching this, it's like you want to rip your heart out. The inhumanity, and it's both the township and KDPS standing out there behind the Ministry of Community, not giving a care, like no remorse, no empathy, just walking by her, like doing their job, like they always say. It's so heartless to see a woman without legs, who is houseless, who has nothing else left, to be begging, literally begging the cops while they do nothing. And that is a perfect example of this city. And we come here, we get mad, and there's so many different point of views and everything, but we know what is right. We know that people should have housing. We know that people should have those are human rights, a place to sleep, right? But this city doesn't care. It's gonna get cold soon. I hope that you're listening to the people who are trying to set up warming shelters, okay? Because nobody should lose a limb and nobody should die out in the cold. And yeah, we do leave early in the meetings. We have things to do. We are the volunteers here, not y'all. And when you rescinded the policy 10.1 because community members were taking too many things out of the agenda, you said it was because we were inconveniencing the administration, and all of a sudden now they're available for us. Well, you should have told us that, but you don't answer emails and you don't care about what we say here. It's a lie that the city is not putting in anything towards the arena, at least in the infrastructure and money. It's all going there. And you know, it really takes a lot of unchecked privilege to witness the chief of police come and intimidate me, and then you talk well about him. You're white. You're an old white man set in your ways, typical, like predictable, and now you come here and tell me, well, the chief of police is a really good guy. I don't care who here thinks that the chief of police is a good guy, because that's not the experience I've had with him multiple times. Okay, when I was assaulted by police at Ampersee 10 City, which I did not deserve, and then was taken to the hospital and also messed up over there with violence, he did nothing but approve for me to stay in jail when I shouldn't. Okay, they brought me in this way. People who are working with police, that's cool. They've never experienced what I have, but that's what I have experienced. So I don't want people telling me that the chief of police is something that he's not, when the OIR report literally says that they have a rotten culture in KDPS, that they are unable to do any introspection, that they have a lot of insularity, which means they don't care about black and brown people. And then you come here and you tell the community here, yeah, he's a good guy. Like, shut up when it comes to what black and brown people are experiencing, because we already have enough problems with the different opinions that people have, because not everybody has experienced this by police. Okay, so you literally just try to counteract every single comment that activists came and made, instead of focusing on what you should be doing for housing and how housing should be good here in this city, because your dirty hands are all over it. But I mean, clearly we see. So worry about yourself.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hello, everybody. It's me again, and I live in the lovely known floodplain area. I live in what James Baker calls the bowl of Kalamazoo. I am from Kalamazoo. I've owned my home for 38 years. I live on Lake Street next to the last natural green space. The same green space that has been on the mayor and the city's destruction list for 8 years now. For 8 years, I have been to every city commission meeting asking and begging you to do something about the flooding issues in the south side of town. For it is getting worse. The more you build in my neighborhood, the more you flood us out more. It's been 8 years. 8 long years, where you fix your damn storm drains that flood out the streets in the whole neighborhood. Then to top it all off, your storm drains flood the streets and back up the storm sewers. And it comes up through our sub pumps, city sewage. And it also is in the streets. We see the sewage go in the ground. It comes from the groundwater. The sub pumps pump the groundwater out. And isn't that where our drinking water comes from? The groundwater? Isn't that where the city of Kalamazoo gets our water? It's been happening. It's time for you to fix the problems. We deserve clean, dry streets just like every other neighborhood. But for some reason, we're ignored. It's the city's responsibility. Why are you not doing your job? Our streets should not flood after an inch of rain. No other neighborhood does. But all we get from you is, we don't have the money to fix this problem. What it is, you really just don't care. It's not your neighborhood, so it's not your problem. The more you build in my neighborhood, the more you hurt your residents. And you don't care. Mr. Anderson, at the last city commission meeting, you made a comment that we all leave early. I work 2 jobs. I have to work 2 jobs because I have to pay for the flooding damage that your flooding causes to my home. I have to be to work at 2:30 in the morning. So I don't have time to stand there and listen to this and watch you give away all the money you give away for fixing the streets, for all that. You've had 8 years to talk to me, Mr. Anderson. 8 years I have been coming to these meetings. So it's not because we leave early and you don't have time to talk to us. You know, you only said that because it's voting time, and voting time is coming up. And you always do that when it comes time to be voted again. You know, a lot of people are tired and they see what you do. You've been here for 6 years as mayor. Crime is out of control. Drive-by shootings is out of control, happening all the time. Everybody, get sirens and scanners. They'll tell you what's really going on in Kalamazoo, because the news won't. You have so many families living on the streets. People have froze to death. Mentally ill is walking around the streets, not getting the proper help they need. People can't afford their water bills, their taxes, their rent. You have sewer backups happening in the city of Kalamazoo somewhere or another at least twice a year. We can do better, Kalamazoo. We deserve better. It's time to get out and vote. Vote November 4th. We can change this. We can make it better. We can get somebody in who gives a damn about the residents. No matter what zip code you live in, no matter how much money you have, whether you're in the money train or not, we need somebody who cares. We need somebody who will stick up for the residents, all of us. No matter how much money we have.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hi, my name's Claire. I live in Kalamazoo, and I hope you all are well. I found it disturbing that Chief Boyson wrote in an email to Vice Mayor Hess regarding Agreement 287G saying, "In full transparency, I was unfamiliar with the term until I began seeing it referenced in materials distributed by local activist groups. I had to research it myself to understand what it entailed." He goes on to suggest that anyone with questions read Policy 414 on the KDPS transparency page, which I did. 287G is mentioned by name in this document in reference to Customs and Border Patrol and ICE agents. How can the community trust that KDPS and the city will not engage in a 287G agreement, which in part monetarily incentivizes officer cooperation with ICE, if they claim to be unaware of what the agreement even is? Last week, in response to community concern over the disturbing nature of the email, Mayor Anderson, you said that, quote, our great chief, Chief Boyson, and the staff have created policies, quote, relative to the relationships and the interactions that are going to happen between our great public safety department here and the federal department, ICE, that are extremely appropriate, and that you would suggest you are comfortable with and aware of them, and that you have worked with a lot of input from our own community partners who have a great interest in what those policies are and are reflective of our own community values. Firstly, this is highly vague rhetoric that leaves much up to interpretation, especially the use of the word great 3 times in the span of 14 seconds to describe the public safety department. This emotional verbal behavior attempts to disqualify and override community members who have been coming to you with concerns. If the city government and department has the goal to build community trust, this language communicates a level of isolation from the community and ignorance to our needs. Given that the rapidly changing context of what qualifies as a criminal act, for example, behaviors that are normative in the context of houselessness, and a Supreme Court case that in the last week or so determined that skin color is an adequate cause for detainment by federal agents, Policy 414 needs to be rewritten to use stronger language that offers more concrete protection in the context of the violence and racism that is perpetuated by those in power in our country. Okay, so I have 1 minute and 42 seconds left, so this is gonna go quick. First of all, 4 minutes is not enough time for community members to communicate their concerns to you, especially in the context. 2, the community celebration of the construction of the arena downtown is not just unwanted, it's harmful, as the arena, which I could have sworn I was told wasn't going to be funded by the city, will exacerbate existing dangers to our houseless communities as well as economic challenges. It sounds like you guys had some really productive listening sessions with the folks in the Winchell neighborhood about their roundabout. Let's bring some of those downtown. And into other neighborhoods who will be disproportionately affected by those and other financially motivated decisions that are made here. What city parks have you been to? What mutual aid efforts have you led or participated in where these conversations can happen openly and freely? I've been doing a lot of canvassing of our neighborhoods, asking folks what their primary local issues are, and I want to communicate with you that a large number of our community members label national issues such as ICE and the militarization of primarily democratic cities as a primary local concern, so I just wanted to bring that to your attention. We need you to extend the search for the city mayor, or for the city manager, to beyond the November 4th election so that the commission that will be working with the new manager actually has a say in the search and the community has a genuine say. You cannot claim in good faith that you have provided the time and space necessary for that to happen, and I do believe this was intentional. Lastly, the flock cameras in Kalamazoo pose a threat to us all, and we have no level of oversight or transparency, and they need to be removed. Whew, okay.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hi, my name is Shona. It's election year. You need to get up and actually care about this community. There are so many people out on the street because rent is too damn high. Housing is ridiculous. But we can sit here and spend money on condos, apartments, things that are expensive. Like, who really wants to live in something that costs a couple $1,000s? Who can afford that? Not us, but rich white men. Once again, it's catering to those that have money. There's more people that live in this community than those that have money. Our children are suffering out in these streets because there's not enough places that are affordable. Resources have too many barriers. Way too many barriers. And Kalamazoo has a lot of resources, but there's way too many barriers put in place for people that are black, brown, indigenous, or immigrants. How is that fair? It's not fair at all. This city, you just want to build up to make it look nice. But what about the community that lives here? Do you really sit down and pay attention and listen to us? You don't, because if that was the case, that arena, wouldn't be there. You wouldn't have sold off that land. You wouldn't have put in money for the infrastructure. There wouldn't be these nonsense places around here that aren't needed. There are so many buildings that are just sitting there, like the Walgreens on Gold Road, or there's right across the street where that auto place is. Why aren't we using the money to make those into places that our unhoused can be in? They can be short-term living or something to keep them out of the winter. There are so many buildings that are sitting around town that have been sitting for years. The Max 10 over on Gold Road, that's been sitting for 10 plus years. Why are y'all not taking these places and turning it into somewhere that somebody can live or something that kids can do after school? The crime would not be so high if people had a place to live that was safe. Our children have things to do. But instead, we're building things for rich white people. That's not the only thing that our community consists of. We have many black, brown, indigenous, and immigrants that live here, from children to adults. Look out on the street. There's too many people living on the street. They have needs. They are real people that deserve things just like the rest of us. Just because they don't have money in their pocket or they have a mental illness, that doesn't make them be able to have a home or services that they can access where they are at. It's election year. It's obvious that this city does not want Anderson as their mayor. There are many of you on this board, even though you're not up for re-election right now, this city don't want you because you're not doing what is asked of you or what you said you are going to do. Our community deserves so much better than what you are doing. Hold each other accountable. Do better, because we're going to make sure those that aren't doing their job when election year comes don't get those seats.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hello. I'm a concerned resident of Kalamazoo. First, I'd like to start by extending my apologies to Mayor Anderson. I know he's very important, and your time is very valuable. I didn't mean for your feelings to be hurt when I left early last session, but unfortunately, unlike you, it is not my literal job to be here. Earlier this year, the Trump administration included Kalamazoo as a sanctuary city. You may think that we're sufficiently small and off the radar. This is a false sense of security, and it's leaving us woefully unprepared for the impending storm. The inability of our leadership to condemn 287G ICE agreements with DHS is a dangerous precedent to our non-citizens and citizens alike, as the ICE budget is skyrocketing and ballooning while our local budgets are plummeting. As a related but distinct concern, I've recently been made aware of the increased presence of flock cameras in our area. For the general public, I'd like you to be aware that there are video cameras that are continuously monitoring locations of you and your family and your friends and your neighbors. There are so many problems with this, I don't have time to unpack them all, but luckily I'm going to be here again and again and again until these godforsaken cameras are off of our streets. Flock cameras have been abused by police departments throughout the U.S. and will continue to be due to lax security standards and an overt disregard for privacy of citizens and the interconnection of the data collected by these cameras. Citizens and visitors of Kalamazoo, please be aware that your location data is being collected by Flock and is shared with police departments all over the country. This is at best naive to think that the data will only be used for protective services. No more spying, no more police state in Kalamazoo. This is a matter of safety and security for all citizens and non-citizens. On a federal level, we are witnessing an attack on our civil liberties, not just an erosion, but an active attack on civil liberties. Anyone at this point can be identified as a terrorist or an enemy of the state for any reason, it seems. And I don't think it's much to ask our local government to be proactive regarding our privacy and our data. And the way we interact with the federal militarized law enforcement, which brings me back to, again, condemning 287G agreements with ICE. I'm asking Kalamazoo leadership to remove existing flock cameras and to block future public monitoring of any kind. I'm asking leadership to be realistic about our status as a city and the way we are being looked at by the federal administration that is escalating its rhetoric and its aggression and its repressive crackdowns of our civil liberties every day. I'm asking you to condemn 287G ICE agreements, to take down flock cameras, block future public spying, and resist civic violations to your constituents while you still can. Please. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jess Thompson. I live in the Vine neighborhood. I am an executive director for the DDA board and the DEGA board, and you all already know, but I did want to let the community know that we have recently placed 58 new big belly recycling and garbage units in downtown. All of the other ones that we had were small, they were very old, and so those have all been replaced. It's a really exciting opportunity that we've had to work with community partners to make this, these advancements possible. And it's taken quite a while to get them in, get them placed, but it's exciting because we can look at the data now for the recycling, and having so many more is really going to keep the, our streets cleaner downtown and help people to, you know, place garbage where it needs to go. And since I'm on a trash talk tonight, I also am a small business owner. I own Be Joyful Shop down in downtown Kalamazoo, and I'm very excited that we partnered with the city of Kalamazoo to do the Kalamazoo Garbage Blitz, and this is an opportunity for the community to get together. We're going to meet at my shop downtown on the mall, and everything will be provided for you, gloves and bags, and a time to come together as community and to help clean up those things that maybe the ambassadors are unable to clean up or is out of the DDA DEGA district. Those days are September 18th, so this Thursday is the first one, October 1st, and October 8th. Those all start at 6 o'clock at Be Joyful Shop. It's open to the public, and I know people are gonna say, oh, how come so-and-so doesn't do that and someone else needs to do that? Well, garbage gets thrown around all the time, whether it's on purpose or by other people. And like I've always told my children and my staff, it might not be our trash, but this is our community and it's our planet. So I welcome everybody to come out to that and look forward to seeing you all.
Thank you. Next, please.
I actually took notes this time, so I didn't just ramble. Hi, everyone. Silvano, local community member. I'm sure you know me by now. And again, like I always do, I want to amplify some of the voices that have already been up here. A few weeks ago, I came here and I asked you guys to be proactive. I asked you to do something, to force the administration to sue us and to defend their policies in court. The 287 agreement that is listed in the policy that I was forwarded by Mayor Hess, thank you for responding, is a pay-to-play. The municipalities and the sheriff's departments and the counties that are signing up for this are getting reimbursed. The officers that are doing the education and the training and the enforcement are getting reimbursed. So right now, there's a conflict of interest in regards to the 287 agreement. And I asked you guys again, like, what's the line? Like, what is it going to be before we act? Is it going to be somebody like me snatched off the streets? Or is it going to be an entire community of me snatched off the streets? Because I can tell you firsthand, private information, that there was one of those Guatemalan children on a plane in Texas from our community that was snatched out of bed at 2 in the fucking morning. So I'm mad. I'm sorry, my language. I'm going to move on, but I'm going to ask you guys to do something with 287, please. I also want to come to you and ask your support for warming shelters this winter. Drew has some great ideas. If you haven't talked to him yet, make some time to talk to him. I know our public schools are heated all winter long. They have gymnasiums and locker rooms. Maybe we can figure out a way to take advantage of those. We don't deserve to have another person die on the streets because they're cold. We live in a modern society. Let's do something about that, please. And then you've heard over and over again by several people about the city manager search and how it's not been accessible or transparent. So I'm asking you guys for a moratorium on that. Let's wait. Let's wait until the next city commission is in place so they can do their homework and actually bring these candidates to the community and make a responsible choice. So that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi there. I live in the city, and 2 weeks ago I came up here and made a comment about a concern I had in regards to the email that's already been mentioned, in which the chief of police city wasn't aware of what the 287G agreement was and my concern about that. Then I waited through the 2+ hour meeting to see if there was going to be any response to my comment. And of course, my concern was shrugged off in between compliments and glazing of the police chief and snarky comments about my comrades with similar concerns not sitting through the entire meeting like I did. I was sitting right there. And I guess I don't know what I was expecting, but regardless, in response to the concerns, you said 3 things. First, you said the policies are made with community partners, and I would love for you to comment on these partners and these policies and what that has to do with Kalamazoo actually taking a firm stance on becoming a sanctuary city and refusing to cooperate with ICE. I wonder that if these community partners are too scared to lose funding, which has been mentioned. I believe Kalamazoo has money and it's not used correctly. And another concern that was mentioned was that we don't want to draw attention to Kalamazoo. Why not draw attention by taking a stand and doing what's right? You also said, the second thing, our policies are lawful, and I would love for you to comment on what that has to do with Kalamazoo taking a firm stance on becoming a sanctuary city and refusing to cooperate with ICE. Slavery was lawful at one time too, but the things ICE are doing is definitely not lawful, and it's only going to get worse. The community was concerned with local police officers wearing masks and refusing to identify themselves, and that was addressed immediately. Why is this any different? I don't understand why we're okay with masked thugs in blue jeans and unmarked vehicles with guns doing whatever they want in our community. That doesn't sound very lawful to me. You also said, the third thing, that the policies reflect our own community values, either referring to yourself or the commission, not 100% sure. And I would especially love for you to comment on what those are exactly and why those are the only values that are considered in these policies and what that has to do with community members' concerns that our chief of police didn't know what a 287G agreement was, and that despite the very valid community concerns repeatedly being brought up, Kalamazoo will still not take a firm stance on becoming a sanctuary city and refuse to cooperate with ICE. You may have heard ICE shot and killed someone in Chicago this weekend, just the latest of many in the very unlawful activities going on within this administration. This is what happens when ICE are allowed to run rampant in a community, even rarely. That would sure draw attention to Kalamazoo. Is this what the community partners want? Is this lawful? And does this align with your community values? And no, I will not be staying until the end of this meeting because some of us have real jobs. I'm not like a landlord. I actually have 2 jobs and run a nonprofit, and I know how to use the internet to watch a live stream. And unless it's, we're going to grow a spine and do what's right to stand up for our community and our constituents, I'm actually not even very much interested in the comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the chambers who would like to provide a comment this evening? Seeing no one else, I want to thank everyone that took the time and made the effort to come down here and provide your comments for tonight's City Commission meeting. Next on our agenda is a public hearing. I would now like to open a public hearing to receive comments on the program year 2024 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, otherwise known as the CAPER. Manager Ritzma.
Well, thank you, Mayor. We have Julie Johnston, our compliance specialist with the city, that will give a brief presentation about the consolidated annual report.
City Commissioners. Tonight, we'll be presenting on the Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, as was stated. This is a requirement of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for the Community Development Block Grant and Home Investment Partnership funds we receive on an annual basis. There we go. So the reporting done under the CAPER is for HUD funds and provides information specifically required by HUD based on their program year, which is July 1 through June 30 each year. In the presentation, we touch on some other funding sources, but the outcomes indicated in the report are just for CDBG and home programs. In addition to the program year that I'm going to talk about, let me just step back for a minute. We also are going to report on the outcomes of the 2019 to 2024 consolidated plan. The 2024 program year was the last year of that consolidated plan, so we're going to give you those final outcomes. So we're going to begin with 2024. This slide represents the funding sources that were allocated to active agreements in 2024. Often the terms of those agreements may not coincide directly with HUD's reporting year, which was that July 1 through June 30, which is why the table shows funds that were committed but maybe not fully expended. We also had some additional multi-year grants. These are one-time funding sources from HUD that were available through or in 2024. You can see that we fully expended the CDBG CV grant, which was provided during the COVID-19 pandemic. The other grants shown here are still active, and we're still expending funds from those grants. So I'm going to jump into some of the activities and outcomes, and it's important to note that the activities and the outcomes associated with them are supported by HUD funding through the city, but with partnerships with our nonprofits and other agencies. In 2024, HUD dollars supported 124 total housing units through critical repair, down payment assistance, full rehabilitation, or new construction. In addition, public service dollars, HUD supported youth programs and legal aid services for low-income households, as well as supporting crime prevention in our quorum neighborhoods. Under our homeless assistance goal, this was primarily supported with a home ARP grant, which is another COVID-19 special funding source. These dollars supported rental assistance and supportive services like education, employment and job training, mental health wellness, transportation, and food services. And the final activity under neighborhood enhancements included code enforcement and demolition of dangerous and blighted properties. We also were able to support improvement to one large park, which was completed in 2024. This was the Southside Park. This included new accessible play equipment, a new basketball court, and improvements to the multi-use field. So each year, HUD requires that the city, through our subrecipient partners, collect race data on the persons and households that were assisted. These categories are established by HUD and reported in the way that they require each year. As you can see, our funding supported 458 households during program year 2024. In addition to race, HUD requires us to collect income data based on the designated brackets of extremely low, very low, and low income. These income levels are determined by HUD on an annual basis and are based on family size. The smaller table at the bottom of the slide are the income levels for a family of 4 in 2025 that would be eligible for HUD assistance. You'll notice that there's a difference in the total household served between this slide and the previous slide that was showing race. The difference in final reporting on these numbers is due to our home ARP grant, which I stated was that COVID-19 special funding source. That grant primarily determines eligibility based on a person's housing status. So assistance is based on housing status and not typically income. Some final additional highlights that happened in 2024 included our continued focus on funding in the core neighborhoods. 97% of our dollars went to low-income households, and we met or exceeded all of the outcomes that we established for ourselves in the 2024 action plan. Finally, a big highlight for staff was the creation, completion, and approval of the 2025 to 2029 consolidated plan. So now I'm going to quickly spend a little time on all of the activities and goals that we achieved during the 2019-2024 consolidated plan. The goals of that plan I talked about in going over the 24 information, and that is the affordable housing, homeless assistance, neighborhood enhancement, and youth development. But during the COVID-19 pandemic, we had to update our consolidated plan so we could get those special funding sources, and we added 2 new goals, which was economic development for small businesses and supportive services for the unhoused. So, reporting shows during this time, our HUD funding supported a total of 753 households or housing units under the affordable housing goal. This is for the 6-year period, which means approximately 125 housing units each year. I think this is a particularly praiseworthy goal for our subrecipients who received this funding because it was achieved during the COVID-19 pandemic, which took up 3 years of this consolidated plan, when many people didn't want people coming into their home or working on homes. So it's quite an achievement to reach 753 units. Under public services, over 1,000 people received public service through legal aid, fair housing services, and youth programming. Also, like in 24, we supported public safety activities within the core neighborhoods. Under the neighborhood improvement goal, 30 dangerous and blighted buildings were demolished. Our housing and code team completed over 22,000 cases, and there were 6 public projects supported with CDBG funds during this time period. 4 of these public projects included improvements to the Eastside Neighborhood Center, 2 significant park improvements at Upjohn Park and Southside Park, which I talked about earlier, and sidewalk improvements in Washington Square. Finally, under the COVID-19 goals of the consolidated plan, tenant-based rental assistance and supportive services were provided to the unhoused. Supportive services included social work assistance, substance use counseling, support groups, health education, and referrals to housing and other needed services. Recently, employment assistance and job training have been added to these supportive services through our Home ARP grant. So that is the completion of my presentation. The meeting tonight is really to provide an opportunity for feedback or any comments on the CAPER No action is required by the City Commission. And once we receive any comment this evening, after this meeting, we'll be submitting our final report to HUD.
Thank you so much. I appreciate being here. And one thing that, just working in this space myself, just remind all of us that this money does not come easily to the city, and there are a great deal of reporting requirements and regulations that go along with it, and it's very easy to make a mistake and get in trouble on that. So I really, really appreciate just the deep dive expertise and all work that staff does in executing these grants and making sure we have positive outcomes. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Commissioners, questions on the CAPER? Commissioner Cooney?
And when we didn't spend all the funds, we'll still be able to spend them, right?
That's correct. Yep. All the funds are committed to activities. In fact, we'll be coming back to the City Commission hopefully in about a month to provide some additional information on activities that we would recommend for funding through our 2025 program. But any dollars that we received in 2024 or earlier have all been committed to activities and will be allowed for us to spend.
Well, thank you. It's a very impressive report, and you've done wonderful things, and thanks for all the great work.
Thank you.
Questions or comments, commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Prado.
I was going to say, as a parent of 3 little kiddos, get a resounding thumbs up on Southside Park. It's their favorite park now. So, well done. I also just want to emphasize, and I know I've talked about it before, but how amazing down payment assistance is, you know, for a lot of first-time folks trying to get into their first home, become a homeowner, especially when you consider all the forces that are against folks that are trying to do that, high interest rates, you know, and just escalating costs of getting their first home and whatnot. So really applaud the city's efforts to support that as well, and I'm grateful for that work. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Prado. Anything else from Commission? All right, once again, thank you. I'm sorry. No? All right, thank you so much for bringing this report to us. No more questions. Now is the opportunity for public comments on this item. If you would like to comment on the CAPER report, please come forward. We'll have 3 minutes. State your name, whether you live in the city, and just a reminder, this would be specifically on this topic. Seeing no public comments, I will now close the public hearing, and there is no action on this item. Next on our agenda, Manager Ritzman.
Our consent agenda is as follows. First, approval of a sole source purchase agreement with West Wind Construction for the Abbey 42 private water filtration and plumbing upgrades, project phase 1, in the amount of $125,417.29. Next is the approval of a contract with Beist Electric for the Water Station 26 electrical and controls upgrade project in the amount of $139,800. Next is the approval of a 12-month purchase with Oracle for Oracle Cloud Migration Services through the MyDeal Cooperative Purchasing Program for an amount not to exceed $220,000. Next is the approval of a contract with Ace Excavating for the removal and disposal of trash, nuisances, and garbage collected pursuant to the enforcement of various city ordinances in the amount of $250,000. Next is the adoption of a resolution approving a change in the standard street lighting contract with Consumers Energy due to changes to the lighting on Dutton Street, 250 feet east of Burdick in Dutton Street intersection. Next is the adoption of a resolution recommending approval of a social district and commons area permit for Winston's LLC located at 224 East Michigan Avenue. Next is the approval of an amendment to the contract between the City of Kalamazoo and the Kalamazoo County Land Bank to demolish the structure at 322 Stockbridge Avenue. Next is the approval of a post-award amendment to the bidding and contract documents between Falcon Demolition LLC and the City of Kalamazoo. Next is the approval of the mayor's appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. The appointment of Cheng Kid Soon to the Downtown Development Authority and the Downtown Economic Growth Authority boards for a partial term expiring March 31, 2029. And the appointment of Roland Bessonette to the Planning Commission for a partial term expiring March 31, 2027. Next is the approval of the minutes from the City Commission meeting on September 2, 2025. And finally, approval of the purchase of 6086 East Michigan Avenue from Scott Smelker and Sarah Smelker for the amount of $249,300, and this item has to be postponed until October 6, 2025.
Thank you very much, Manager Ritzma. Commissioners, the requested action is a motion to approve items 1 through 10 and postpone item 11 until October 6th, 2025, and authorize the city manager to sign all related documents on behalf of the city. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Pradel, supported by Commissioner Decker. Clerk Borling, please call the roll.
Commissioner Decker?
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel?
Yes, but just one edit to the minutes on page 66 of the packet. A resident who came to speak, her name is Katie Bloom, and in the minutes it says Blue. It's B-L-O-O-M. But yes.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The items on the consent agenda are approved. There are no regular agenda items, so we're next on to reports and legislation. City Manager Ritzma.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of items this evening. First, we have a unique celebration this week. Our Kalamazoo wastewater reclamation plant is celebrating its 70th anniversary this week, Thursday, September 25th, or I'm sorry, Thursday, September 25th, so the following Thursday, at 1415 Harrison Street with a ribbon cutting, cake, tours, and some remarks by city leaders at 1 p.m. So this event will be from 11 to 3, and look forward to opportunity to celebrate a unique asset in our community that helps keep our environment clean. And then just a couple of staff items out of our Human Resources Department. We have a couple of new employees there. Maya Wembley is a new Staff Development and Training Specialist, and Kayla Pfeiffer is our HR generalist. And they will be working on Maya will be working on staff training and departmental training, and we look forward to that. And then our employee medical clinic continues to see an increased participation, and that's good for our employees, but also for the health of the clinic. So we like to acknowledge that. That's all I have this evening, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Manager Ritzma. We are now on to unfinished business and an update on the city manager search process. Vice Mayor Hess.
Thank you, Mayor. On behalf of the subcommittee of Alonzo Wilson, Commissioner Chris Pradel, and myself, who have been meeting with Raf Tellis and our city staff who are helping in this process, including our city attorney, Erin Leal, we'd like to announce that as of today, as of this morning, we have 45 applicants for the position of city manager, and those will be vetted and given to us in binders between October 2nd and 6th so that we all can look at those, the top 10 candidates that Pamela has whittled it down to. On October 6th, we will have a committee of the whole meeting where we will meet with Pamela Weidman from Raf Tellis and via Zoom, and we will together go through our candidates. At the beginning of the meeting on October 6th, we will then vote as a commission for our original top 5 or 6. My question to you, Commission, is do you have a
preference about how many candidates we would like to interview, we would like to reach out to. The idea is between 3 and 5, but it's up to you, and I'd like to hear if anybody has any thoughts on that, or from the committee or from y'all.
First of all, thank you for the update. I appreciate it. Once again, I continue to appreciate the work of the entire hiring committee doing this work. Thoughts, commissioners, on number to interview? So let's back up just a little bit, because in this process, we have 45 applicants as of today, correct?
Right.
And many of those applicants could be currently working other places. And unless they are in the final process, most likely, in many cases, will not want their names revealed until they know that they will be in the final steps of this process. So that means that there's an opportunity for each of us to evaluate resumes and that sort of thing from applicants, as will be provided to us through our contract entity, Raftellus, and we'll have opportunities to go over into the attorney's office. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All of us, and spend time looking through those. Those will not be documents that will be removed from the attorney's office.
Right.
But we can take our own notes and make our own decisions and think about that sort of thing. Then at the end, there'll be an opportunity for us, still anonymously, to select, not by name, but by identifying number, a number of people to interview. Once that becomes evident, then that's public, and people understand that their names will be made public at that point. So I guess with all that happening, leading up out of these 45 applicants, what you're looking for as a committee is just some direction on how, what is an appropriate number of people to interview?
Yes.
Were there any recommendations from the firm we hired that does this process all across the country?
Help me out. She seems to believe that between 3 and 5 is a good number to interview, but that based upon timing and other searches and so on, as we reach out to one that we may have identified, they may withdraw from the process. So to have up to 5 that we might want to interview. Now, we won't release their names until they have been contacted that they would be a finalist and an interview, possible interview, until they have been contacted by Pamela during the October 6th meeting. So
and when you're referencing Pamela, just a reminder.
Pamela Weidman from Raftellus.
Great.
Thank you. So she would reach out during the meeting, and then either at the end of the meeting or the following day, we will release the names of those candidates that we'll be interviewing the following week. And there will be a meet and greet. I just want to say this again. I think the city's done a good job of getting that out to the folks. A meet and greet with all the potential candidates, all those candidates who have been identified to interview, from 5 to 6:30 p.m. on October 14th, Tuesday, October 14th, at the Catalyst Center at 180 Water Street. So please come and join us for that. There will be opportunities for you to provide feedback there and beyond there until our meeting the following week on the 20th to determine our chosen candidates. Anything else from Alonzo, Chris, that I'm missing here?
I think the only thing to add would be there'd be that special session on October 15th, the day after the meet and greet, and that would be the date of the interviews, but that would be another opportunity for public comment as well. So effectively, you have the opportunity on the 14th to attend and engage with the candidates directly, one-on-one, in that setting. Opportunity through a medium to give feedback through surveying again. If people want to provide feedback for their interactions from that meet and greet. Another opportunity to give feedback at the meeting on the 15th, and then another opportunity for public feedback on the 20th.
Right.
So effectively, during that 1 week period, there'd be 3 different ways to make sure that you're elevating feedback on how you feel about the finalists.
And I just wanted to clarify, excuse me, I believe they said we can expect interviews on average to last, what, 45 to an hour? Just wanted everyone to know that when it comes to selecting how many we want to interview.
Right. Okay, important. Attorney Leal.
I just wanted to add to what the commissioners have mentioned about the candidates, especially what Vice Mayor has said. I've been following some of the other types of similar recruitments in the area, notably Battle Creek as well as Ottawa County. And in Battle Creek, the commission there selected actually 4 people to interview, and 1 withdrew after that event. All 4 were published online, and 1 decided that they were staying in Ohio. They probably got a raise or maybe decided not to come, did not want to move to Michigan. The Ottawa Creek is a little bit more unusual, but they had selected 4 to interview, and they had 1 who withdrew before they started deliberating, and then some dysfunction within the county board that was aired in open session. They went down to 1 candidate. So I think that as you go forward, 3 would be an optimum number, but there are candidates who sometimes will withdraw at the last minute for various reasons. Their community doesn't want them to leave, and they offer them a higher position or higher salary, those kinds of things. So that's why when Pamela Weidman had recommended between 3 and 5, you may want to really look at the higher number in the event somebody withdraws after they've been asked if they want to interview with the city.
Aaron, quick question related to that as well. In situations where people are applying, are they oftentimes applying multiple places? So is it another factor also that they might be a finalist or get selected somewhere else before we?
That is very common within the appointee levels, where they will be interviewing more than 1 position out there, and especially when the recruitments are very close to each other, they may withdraw from 1. They may be both booked to interviews in 1 place. And I do know of an individual who was in that same situation where the recruitments were very similar, and they withdrew from 1 over the other. And so that also happens.
Thank you.
Thoughts?
No, thank you, Attorney Leal. Yes, just one other thought. Please check our landing page for updates to this process. Everything is there. Hopefully by the end of the week, we will have the entire comments, everything that has come through to us from the community about what we'd like to see in our city manager. So we will also we'll be touring all the candidates around on the day of the interviews, and they'll be meeting with senior staff as well. So the process is moving along. I think Pamela's doing a great job of keeping it on track, as well as all of our city staff. So I'm grateful to all of them for this.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Hess. Thoughts, commissioners, about the number? Commissioner Cooney.
Given the large number of people that we have and the information that we just received, I would think 5.
Any other thinking? I see some heads shaking here. Does that seem reasonable? Commissioner Hoffman?
It seems reasonable, and one, I want to say congratulations to the subcommittee and Raftelis. 45 is very impressive. That says a lot about who we are becoming as a community. I also feel, though, this is one of the most important decisions that we will make for the next 10 to possibly 15 years. I would like to see that number maybe slightly higher, because what happens if you have 10 candidates and they're all just as qualified? I don't know. I know we don't have time to interview everybody. And I also would like to make room. I don't know if someone did pull out, could we have an alternate? So just something to think about.
Commissioner Decker.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to say thank you to the subcommittee for working extra hours on this.
We all know what sitting on the subcommittee is like. It's many more hours, but this is very important work. So I did have a question. Vice Mayor Hess, I don't know if you have gotten any answer to this yet. When I was looking for the answer to see, did we or did we not pay to have our job posting boosted to the top of the ICMA by Raftellus? I can't answer that at this point, Commissioner Decker. Okay. And the only reason I bring that up is, you know, I kind of went online and also myself took a look at some of the places that where we were advertising at. And, you know, I think that it's very important, especially when you're talking about the ICMA. That is where a lot of city managers and people that strive to be a city manager go to see what is out there. And in my eyes, I thought that that would have been the first and foremost one that we would have paid for to bring our job posting to the top. So I guess I was kind of wondering on that. And then, yeah, 44 is a great number. If we choose 5, that is only 11% of the individual resumes that are come through. So I do agree with Commissioner Hoffman that we should make that number a little bit higher. It may take us some time. We might have to do it in 2 days. But as it's been said, this is one of the most important decisions that this 55th City Commission will make. And it will have this is a very important decision that this 55th City Commission will have to make. And I don't believe that narrowing it down just to 4 or 5 is sufficient in my eyes. I do think we do need to raise that number just a little bit, just to make sure that we, as Commissioner Hoffman said, you might have 10 that are exactly the same, but then that one that we might have put away might have been that diamond in the rough, which might be the one that we want to see. So I think it should be more than 5. And again, 44, 5 out of 44, that is only 11% of the resumes that are going to come through Raftellis' hand. And if they're still taking applications, I think it is until the 17th. Is that correct, Vice Mayor? They're taking them, but the soft ending was the 12th.
Oh, it's the 12th, okay. Well, that is good to know in case anyone out there is watching and wants to become a city manager. But that's just my thought. So I guess it doesn't really matter now about the ICMA not being raised to the top. That is what it is at this point. But I think if we move forward, that I do think the number should be more than 4 or 5.
Thank you for that. Well, we have a subcommittee meeting tomorrow. We will bring that up. I will tell you that Ms. Weidman will be interviewing each of those folks. She will be talking to each of those folks. And again, as we all know, she did discovery with all of us, and she spoke with each one of us individually. She has the feedback from the committee, or from the entire community. So hopefully she will represent the city well when she does speak with them and bring us the top 10 that she's already brought forward, and then her thoughts about each of them as we meet in closed session on the 6th. So we're looking forward to that as well. So yes, absolutely. We want the best candidate. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Anything else from the committee? Yes, Commissioner Prado.
I think I was just going to mention, in terms of, keep in mind that even though we make the decision to move 5 people forward, there's going to be 10 candidates that the commission, this group, gets to look through. And so that's, almost 25% of the people who applied. And most, just kind of the assessment from Pam as well is just that 45 is a very healthy number of people. I mean, it's a very strong response. And usually when you would start to increase the pool would be as if you had a really poor turnout, and we're concerned about it. The other thing I would say as well, we always have the ability, if we get those 10 people and they're not satisfied and don't feel like they're strong candidates, and they're to say, hey, this isn't, we don't feel like we got something that's a winning star here for us, for our community. So, just keep that in mind as well. That's always in the ability, if it should come to that, where we say, these 10 people, no, we need to, figure out a way to dig deeper. So.
Thank you, Commissioner Prado. Yes, Commissioner Wilson.
Thanks, Mayor. Commissioner Hoffman raised a good point on alternates, and I had a question for Attorney Leal. If we were to select 5 with the intentions of interviewing 5, knowing that some could drop out, could we keep the other 5, or however many we decide, as alternates without notifying them to kind of keep the keep the secrecy, or is that not allowed? Excuse me.
Since they weren't revealed to be the actual finalists, their information would still remain confidential. So how Raftellus handles that situation, I can't speak for them, but it is something that could be possible, but I just don't know their policy on that.
All right, that's something else that we can discuss tomorrow in our meeting. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Commission, and thanks again to the subcommittee. I appreciate that very much. Now we are down to commissioner comments. Are there any commissioners that want to provide comments for the meeting this evening? Yes, Commissioner Wilson.
Thanks, Mayor. Just real quick, we had a couple community members mention that 269 Fest was kicking off this weekend. I just wanted to lift up a couple of events that are happening. On Friday, we'll have, Southwest Michigan First will be hosting the Entrepreneur Summit at the KIA, Kalamazoo Institute of Arts, Friday, September 19th, 1 to 5. It's a great networking opportunity for entrepreneurs and those looking to learn how to become one. There's also the 2025 Skilled Trades Expo at Lacrone Park, 704 West Patterson, September 20th from 1 to 4 p.m. Come out and fellowship with local contractors and organizations to learn about opportunities, as well as bring your family for food and fun. These events are free as well. Thanks.
Thanks, Commissioner Wilson. Other comments, Commissioners? Commissioner Cooney.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, a number of us were able to go to a conference this past week on housing and homelessness, and I want to commend the people that put that together. It was excellent. Really good, very informative. 2 impressions I leave with. One, the formidable nature of the homeless situation. It's up 20% since last year, and the price of rentals just keeps going up, and it's just such a huge problem, way beyond the resources of the city to take care of by itself, although we have to do everything we can. The second thing that the impression that I'm left with was the dedication and the compassion of the people that work with the homeless and with all the people that are struggling with housing. It was just tremendous to see that and to hear the great work that they're doing. The other thing that I wanted to remind people is that we have a Meet the Candidates event tomorrow. I believe it's at 5:30 for the mayor, and I think 6:30 for the city commissioners at the Douglas Community Center. So that's so important that we're talking about meeting the candidates for city manager. We want to meet the candidates for the sitting in these seats up here.
Thank you, Commissioner Cooney. Commissioner Decker.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to, I'm not going to say any names, but I just want to acknowledge some individuals that I see in the chambers that are running for City Commission for next year. I just encourage you to come to City Commission meetings, to come up to the podium, introduce yourself so the community can see who you are and can hear what you believe in and what you're fighting for. One of those seats that you'll be contending for is mine, and I just want to make sure that I'm given the community an opportunity to see you guys in this public forum, because this is where you can come and say anything that you want to within public comment, and it does not have to pertain to anything that is on the city agenda. And
I do want to say that I did get some great feedback on Brush the Block, and a lot of people loved it. They took the trolley, they came downtown. So that was a wonderful placemaking opportunity, and I have heard just great things regarding it from the community. They weren't able to take the the Dolly bus, I think it is, or the Salvador Dali bus. I was just in when they got there. But they really enjoyed that. They enjoyed going around the city and seeing the different types of artwork and the different creativity that we have here within the city of Kalamazoo. So I kind of wanted to lift that up a little bit also. I also wanted to speak on the individuals that came and spoke about, you know, the ice that'll be coming to our city, could be coming to our city, isn't if they're not already here. I had an individual friend of mine that had an experience with that. It is scary. And, you know, we don't want that, any families to be separated at all. So I just want to acknowledge that, is that it's not falling on deaf ears. It is a situation that is here in our country, and I just want individuals to know that I also hear them.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. And the clever part of it was that it's a trolley, so it's the Dolly trolley. There you go. Other comments, commissioners? Commissioner Pradel.
Thank you, Mayor. Just struck me tonight, just looking across the dais, that we have, 3 meetings left together as the current 55th City Commission. 2 after this, and then the transition night, right? So 2 full regular meetings and then 1 transition meeting, which it's always, you know, I've been up here long enough now where it's always kind of, I don't know, it's strange to think and ponder that, because I really enjoyed working with everyone on this group, and as I have with all the previous ones as well. One of the things I love the opportunity to learn through the committee of the whole meeting, but dang, we had such an important one today with the Imagine Kalamazoo 2035 draft. If you didn't get a chance to be here for that, I really encourage you to go back and watch that on our YouTube and just really see where the draft stands. Chief Operating Officer Laura Lamb and Deputy City Manager Rebecca Kick presented on that. Really emphasized that it's in draft format. It's not in concrete yet, so there's still opportunity to really make sure that we're heading in the right direction as that final draft happens. That is just a really critical component to the next 10 years of our city. And you know, there's 3 big convergences happening here in a really short amount of time. We're gonna have a new city manager, at least 2 new individuals on commission, possibly more, and you know, Imagine Kalamazoo 2035 plan. And so, you know, these are a lot of big things happening for our community, and really the community has an opportunity to shape all 3 of those still. So I definitely encourage you to check that out. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Pradel. Commissioner Hoffman.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say how much I appreciate you all and serving with you all, and so how much I appreciate the community. August was a month full of surprises and for me personally, but the amount of support that I got from community and the amount of support that I received from you all, it really was a gift. And it made my heart smile from the inside out. And what I also recognized is, you know, there are often times when we think we are controlling things on this earth, and we have no control. Those small things that we can influence, especially around housing, gun violence, around the climate change that's happening. When you see a tornado come through Portage, when you see windstorms knock over 100-year-old trees, there are some things that we as human beings can do to ensure that we become better stewards of the gifts that we have been given. And that also is about the care of our community with human beings, but also our earth, this place that we call home. So after everything in August, I am still optimistic, and I have become more resilient for the BS that may show up for us that we feel like we don't have any control over. Know that it's something divine happening even when it's uncomfortable. And I hope that we all can stay steadfast, understanding that what we can do, let's do it. Let's not think twice about it. Let's just do what's right for humanity. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hoffman. Vice Mayor Hess.
Sure. Warning, this is a little bit long. Stop looking at your watch there, Commissioner Pradel. Whereas some things have congealed tonight, we had, first of all, we had the Imagine Kalamazoo 2035. You know, who are we going to be in 10 years? And I have a suggestion here. And then President Cavaluna came, Western's new president, came to visit us and introduce himself and chat with us. And he also brought his daughter. We had a daughter of a proclamation recipient speak. So this is the youth. We're talking about the youth and learning here. It came to light last week that math and reading scores are dropping drastically in the United States. That's a concern. And I believe that here in Kalamazoo, that doesn't have to happen. As a matter of fact, I think we can reverse the trend. And we also had, we gave the proclamation to the Boys and Girls Clubs, who are big brothers, big sisters, who are crying for mentors. They're crying for each one, teach one. And so I believe that here in Kalamazoo, the one thing that can unite us is this idea of education. And education is simply not attending a school or whatever. Education is the process of drawing forth. Education is drawing forth the best self from each and every one of us here in Kalamazoo. Metro Transit came and presented here at the beginning of this meeting. I saw on the side of a bus, it takes a village to raise a child. We are that village. It also takes a village to raise a person to elderhood. We are that village. It is time that we claim it as a city. This is who we are. If you look on our city flag, education is one of the main ingredients of what we've always felt about Kalamazoo. And so we are not perfect. By any means, we are not perfect. If you talk to the superintendent of Kalamazoo Public Schools, he said, oh, don't claim that yet, we're not perfect. No, we're not, but we're working toward it, and we know what it takes to make sure that our youth are educated. It takes mentorship, it takes a commitment to housing and to a living wage and to so much here in the city to educate a child. We want to make sure that everyone's best self has an opportunity to be revealed. Whether you matriculate here from somewhere else and you come here to Western or K College or KVCC, that you are, as a student, you are honored here in Kalamazoo, and that everyone, from commission on to all of our citizens, can make sure that you are educated to the greatest degree. From birth to the end of life, opportunities exist here in Kalamazoo. From RX Kids to Cradle Kalamazoo, the very earliest part of life, educating families, educating mothers, educating so many folks that are working together toward the greater good of life. To KC Ready Forest, that people that are making sure that children get a chance to learn, to the YMCA, to K-RISA, to the K through 12 opportunities that we have, all supported by the promise. The promise is Education City. Ollie, the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, where elders can go and learn and continue to learn throughout their lifespan. And then finally, at the end of life, we have Hospice of Kalamazoo that teaches us how to be at peace. The Career and Technical Institute, I could go on and on. I believe that when we embrace education for all, as MLK embraced and implored us, great things will continue to happen. All the issues that plague our city can be and should be addressed by education. Poverty, health and health care, housing. The seminar that we went to last Thursday, you know, that was great education for all of us, for all of us. The unhoused, working with the unhoused. The environment, absolutely, we need to learn and teach each other about the environment. Justice and violence are all addressed by greater education. It has the power to unite us, to work with our issues, and to impact regional, state, and national practices, especially at this time of assault on education at all levels. Tonight, we proclaimed that we were going to paint this town green, and we once again acknowledged the power of each one to teach one. So, from paving the way from tax-funded education, which we did here in Kalamazoo in the 1800s, to the state's first marching band in 1909 at Kalamazoo Central, the opportunities for education in Kalamazoo have defined us for nearly 2 centuries. We are that town. We are that Kalamazoo. So with the opportunities have been in higher education since Kalamazoo College was founded in 1833, for education for all. So I am very interested or willing to talk with anybody about furthering this initiative of taking Kalamazoo from just a place that kind of does education a lot, to a place that embraces education as a common value for all, education for all, especially those who need the most care to be able to accept the promise and use the promise and get the promise of their lives. So that's what I have to say. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. One of the events that I had the opportunity to attend this past weekend was the El Concilio Gala, which was over at the Radisson, well-attended, fantastic event with our friends from our community, really kind of kicking off the beginning of Hispanic Heritage Month, which bridges 2 months, actually, from September 15th to October 15th. But one thing that was particularly positive for me about that event was that in the list of people who were recognized for doing great work in Kalamazoo, one of the people and one of the departments that was recognized was our own Johnny Berry, who was recognized for all his work with the PALS Soccer League. And the several hundred young people that were able to participate in soccer at no cost because of the Police Athletic League. And correct me if I'm wrong, Manager Ritzma, but I believe that we started the Police Athletic League under our previous chief, Chief Coakley, and it was something I was really not fully aware of until he proposed the idea. It's something that happens other places. He'd had experience with it when he was serving over in the Detroit area. And I'm just going to say I really appreciate the values and principles and the idea of the Police Athletic League, which is to give an opportunity for positive interactions with individuals who are serving in our public safety department and supporting youth in a whole variety of ways. Soccer's not the only thing, rocket football, baseball, variety of things going on with Police Athletic League, otherwise known as PALS. So it seemed like Johnny Berry kind of kept it a secret from all of us. I don't know if that happened, but I just wanted to recognize our own public safety department and Johnny Berry for all that great work supporting PALS and engaging with the community. I love you, Kalamazoo. We're adjourned.